following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
You know, I hate disappointing people off the top of the show. I hate disappointing people anyway, but I hate disappointing fans. Kliq This podcast, Kevin Nash podcast, which means he's here too. There he is.
Yo.
Kev, we promised everybody with great excitement that the Bunkhouse Stampede was coming this week, and then something happened.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
God retired.
Yeah. So we thought it only fair that we've got to cover this extensively this week. So just apologize up to anyone who's out there with taped fists. Told you guys can listen with anything you want on. Come as you are to listen to the Bunkhouse Stampede. So a lot of cowboy boots, buckles, taped fists. You guys might be a little disappointed. I mean, you can certainly listen to the Vince McMahon segment, right, Kev? I mean,
yeah, we just
taped fists. You never rubbed one out with a taped fist, did you? I would imagine the friction would be just.
It was never really a taped fist. I think if I make my recollection, at one time I had injured myself and I had to tape my hand for like a couple weeks. But I know as a actual taping my fist for a reason. I think I taped my fist for the finger poke of doom.
Oh, good.
Because I'd never taped my fist. So it would give it that bunkhouse feeling.
Right.
Yeah, just kind of take it away from them. A little bit.
I think if people noticed that, they would have been a lot softer on the finger poke of doom if they knew that was a thing. Well, anyway, listen, feedback from last week continues to be great. The show continues to excel. Landrew Dice Clay, unless that's a capital I, that might be Andrew Dice Clay. He said, are we in the UK fast enough for you now? And if you take a look at this graphic, that's a UK number right there, Kev.
All right.
Number one in the UK in the sports category.
Thanks, UK.
So, yes, Andrew, you did well. Joseph Walters weighed in, said that that kayfabe Sean impression of Cornette doing Hamlet had me pull over to laugh, was freaking perfect. So now I think between the corny, the Jesse, we have B. Arthur. Maybe someone can do an impression of that. We got
Pat Patterson.
Pat Patterson's in there too. The De Niro. We can do an animated series where they all move in together. We'll call it Friends in Depends or something like that. Although Corny's not that old, so that's not really. He could be the neighbor that comes over, but everybody else do like a senior citizen.
Could be like the
version of
Mr.
Friends.
Roper.
Exactly. Yeah. Or the Larry. Was that the other guy, Larry, who would come in like the neighbor guy? Matthew Reed, you guys are doing awesome. Thank you, Matthew. I was concerned. Love the mix of banter and wrestling. The stick to wrestling crowd are giving off an awfully cunty vibe.
Well.
Cunty's an adjective, isn't it?
Don't ask me. I blow a quad.
Yeah, I was giving you a chance to redeem yourself, for God's sakes.
I don't want it. You know, it's funny because I speak fluent Czechoslovakian, and that's probably where a lot of my,
Well, obviously, you were able to order a painting on commission because of your Czechoslovakian.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is I got a lot of feedback on my DM on my Twitter from a lot of the coastal cities in Czechoslovakia and some in Yugoslavia.
Right.
So
the coastal cities, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful beaches.
Jeff Nolan, I'll be honest, I kind of burnt out on wrestling podcasts, but knew anything with Big Kev was going to be good. I wasn't wrong on that. Oh, no, I was wrong on that. The show is not good, but effing great. It's more talk radio than talk wrestling. Thanks, Sean and Kev. Keep them coming. Brilliant stuff. Johnny Clare, that's either a Stone Cold doll with a wig or a Barbie with a goatee. Everyone referencing, of course, the doll, the action figure that last week made an appearance. The terrifying doll. Please get those if you can and have Kevin sign them. Soon to be a collector's item. Bubba McKenzie, Charlize Theron, listening to the new episode of Kliq This. There she is. How dare you? That's a reference, of course, last week, Kev, you referenced her hooves.
I said that, yeah, you know what? But like I said, I didn't take any points off.
Mike, the Media Renaissance Man, listening to it while leaving the hotel, and I'm happy that Nash spoke on DOA. I just found out he was in the movie a couple of weeks ago, and I get to hear a quick thought on it. Love the new podcast. Kid, you're going places. And Sean is the shoot goat. Anyone who was wondering what that is, last week we covered Kevin's extensive Hollywood career, and DOA was one of the films we discussed. Cali Bug. While doing my last chemo treatment, listening to Kliq This while doing my last chemo treatment sounds like a good day to me. Next step is transplant tomorrow. Hashtag fuck cancer. You got that, Callie. We're with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Knock it out, sweetheart.
We are with you. And Brian Kaufman, coincidentally, tweeted right after that. He said, listening to it while getting mine too. Need a laugh getting it. Hang in there. So you both hang in there and let us know how it's going, okay? We will let our fans know. That's Callie Bug and Brian Kaufman. You must get that a lot, Kevin. Someone comes up to you at a tough time and they're like, you know, you got me through, or you were a hero to me. That's gratifying.
You know, when I was, when you're the champion of the WWE, you do a lot of make-a-wishes. And I don't think there's anything, I remember one time we were in Wilkes-Barre, and there was a young girl that was on the other side. It was one of those partition walls. And the guy came in from the office and said, hey, he says, you know, there's a Make-A-Wish girl over here that wants to meet you. And I said, great. He goes, if you can, if you could do this in 15 minutes because they need you in interviews. And I looked at him, I said, are you fucking kidding me? I said, this girl wants, I'm her Make-A-Wish, and you're giving me a fucking time limit? I said, how about go fuck yourself? So, unbeknownst to me, I walk over there, spend as much time as I want to with her, and she ends up passing. And her mother sent me the article, and they made reference to that. She had heard me basically tell the guy, go fuck yourself, that I'll spend as much time as I want to with her. That if I'm her wish, her wish is my command, like, go fuck yourself. And that was one of those things where you say to yourself, like, girl was like 10, it's just like, sorry that you found out that I'm a little bit brazen, but at the same time, I'm glad that you appreciate the fact that, I mean, it means a ton to guy. Somebody like Cena I think is got the record now, like world record for the most. That is not an easy thing to do.
Imagine.
When you go in there, and especially when you follow up, and they go through 3-4 surgeries, and they're down at the Ronald McDonald House in Orlando, and they're out by the pool, and they've lost another 20 pounds, and it's just like, but you got to try to put your game face on because, they're counting on you to be there, as a part of their support system.
First person that ever opened my eyes to that, Hulk Hogan wrote about it in his autobiography, talking about, and it's just something I never considered, that like that aspect of, I mean, the travel's hard enough, right? And then like mixed in with that, I mean, how the story's going to end for some of these folks, and it's like you can't crack.
I mean, I think the thing is too, that when you looked at, I mean, I looked at it always as an honor, that I was put in that position, or I had somebody that really, thought enough of me to be the person that spoke to them. So
yeah, but I mean, you're human. I mean, it must destroy you. I mean, you had a young son at home. It's like you do that replacement in your mind, and it's impossible not to go there if you're a parent.
I remember I was getting ready to go on the road. My wife and I were going to the three of us were going to eat, and I was going to catch a later flight. And I noticed my son was walking up the stairs in front of me. I noticed a lump in the back of his knee. And I put my thumb on it. There was definitely something there. And of course, man, like, I was just like, holy fucks. We took him immediately to the emergency room at Halifax Hospital here in Daytona Beach. That's a really good pediatrics. At that time, they did, this is 21 years ago. I don't know who the fuck they got there now.
Yeah.
But at that time, they had a really renowned pediatrics guy. And they real quickly did a CAT scan, did a couple of things. And he said, he says, it's a Baker's cyst. It's nothing. And, like, go get on your flight. And I did, and there was thank God there's nothing wrong with my kid. But it was one of those things where, man, I was just like, I'm pretty much agnostic. I mean, but I'm that fucker that this, I was brought up Methodist. So, I'm washing my armpit and I feel a lump. Please, God, don't take me. I'm that motherfucker. Yeah, but you fucking flat earthers, what the fuck is that?
That's right. Well,
I think we're all there, though. I think I mean, if you kind of brought up with religion, and I was, into my, if you're brought up with religion, I mean, it's just like. It's there. It's a part of your your socialization process. And I remember when my dad died, that next Sunday it was time to go to church. And my brother and I had already polished our wingtips and had our little blue suits, laying out. My mom walked in the back. She goes, "What are you guys doing?" I said, "Well, okay, go to church." She says, "No, there's no God." She says, "No God would take your father away from your 3 kids. We're not going to church. Can we still watch Davy and Goliath?"
What?
But
I remember that stop animation gimmick.
Yeah.
Man, that just made you.
Gee, Davy.
We're showing our age a little bit for anyone who doesn't know. This was the Sunday morning syndicated show. There are those benchmark things, that make you feel old. Let's go through some of this right now. Okay.
Right.
I saw a guy running yesterday. Okay. And he was, I don't know, he's probably in his 20s or something. Like, nobody looked twice. He had shorts, I think, had his shirt off. He wasn't like in insane jogging gear, but he was young enough to be running where no one thought there was something wrong somewhere. There is an age that you hit where if you ran down the street, I'm not talking about at the track at the park, if you ran down the street, people would look around and go, something's wrong. So what age is that? What age could you no longer run down the street? It might be 12.
Not nowadays?
Like, could you run down the street now without people going, oh, shit? Something.
Not with fucking everybody in this fucking state with a concealed weapon. Shit.
That is true.
Fuck that. Better light yourself on fire if you're going to run.
So how about this one? My daughter pointed this out to me one time. I was belly aching about getting a new phone. I was holding on to the 8S until like this year. And I'm like, oh, my data's not going to come over. And she laughed at me. And she's 16. She's like, oh, my God, that is such an old guy thing. Like, you're afraid to get a fucking phone because your shit's not going to come over. Do you relate to that at all? Or are you okay, like, getting that new phone every 2 years? All the emails will be there. All the pictures will be there.
I don't know what I have now. It's a Samsung Note. I brought my old one in because it's just basically they told me if you don't change your fucking phone out, you're just not going to have service. I brought like a Note 2 in. I think they're like on 14 or something now. Man, I brought one of those bricks in. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. 0 fucks given.
Yeah. So that one I used your phone today.
Yeah.
So that one you handed me, that's a new one.
That's maybe 2 years old.
Okay. Impressive how big you could get the font too, by the way. I didn't think there were that many fucking black pixels in the gimmick, but that's amazing.
No.
All right, how about this? Radio, streaming, or satellite? What do you have?
In my car?
In your vehicle.
I got fucking a 6 CD changer in that motherfucker.
6, baby.
Yeah.
In the trunk.
In the dash, that Mustang.
So you don't listen to the radio?
Yeah, a little bit here and there, but.
And it's broadcast radio? Or is it
like
satellite?
It's like fucking the Hog here, or fucking there's a fucking there's a R&B station out of Orlando.
Yeah, because that was another thing I was surprised that my wife was talking to somebody who was like in her fucking 20s or maybe 30 or something. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'm waiting for, I'm getting satellite or whatever, or my satellite was going in and out. And the salesperson kind of laughed, like, yeah, if you still do radio, yeah, you know, you could just stream, you know. And I guess, you know, that's another thing. That's another benchmark now for age, the radio.
Yeah, but to me, it's just like, I'm the guy that goes to the gym and they say, hey, man, you want us to change the music? And I'm like, what's on? I don't pay fucking, like, if I'm doing shit, if I'm driving, I'm fucking driving. I'm talking to myself all the time. It's like that show You on Netflix. I'm talking to myself 24/7.
Right.
You know? How am I going to get rid of that fucking body in the trunk?
Right, yeah. Well, you got a little of the bipolarity going on.
Yeah.
Greeting cards. That's another one. Greeting cards.
Never. We have an ongoing, it's a standard in our family. If it's a Hallmark fucking holiday, we do not at any time. There's no sweetest day, Valentine, none of that fucking shit. You got a birthday, you got Christmas, that's it.
But you do birthday cards.
Fuck no.
Oh, you don't? Okay. So, hey, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give you a test, all right? You're just going to answer these questions, and I'm going to score you. I'm going to tell you where you are, all right?
Is this how fucking old I am?
Yeah, let's say the gradient is like, I don't know, like for cultural reference, like Billie Eilish to like Michael Douglas, like who you think is cool. Like Billie Eilish is cool, Michael Douglas is cool. Okay, that'll be the gradient. So here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Verbiage. Do you turn up the music or raise the music? Or TV, whatever. You turn up the TV or raise?
I turn it up.
Turn. Dial, right? Mark that. Okay, next. When's the last time you said dungarees?
Never.
Oh, that's okay. We'll give you points for that. How about corduroy? When's the last time you referenced corduroy?
Anytime you're in Canada, it's a national wardrobe.
Have you ever in your life had to stand up to change a channel?
Fucking, I was a remote control for 6 seasons. But then we only had 247 and we had actually, because we lived in Detroit, we had Channel 9, which was Canadian broadcast. So we got Hockey Night in Canada, so fucking suck on that.
Did you do the UHF dial gimmick?
We got Channel 50 probably when I was maybe 6 or 7. And then we actually got Channel 62, which showed like the real horrible monster movies like the Godzillas and Rodons and those, you know.
That's great.
Ghidras, yeah.
Do you need to leave all right, I should say, have you ever left the captions on while watching Netflix?
No.
No. Okay. How many of your high school girlfriends are dead? Came up with these when I couldn't sleep last night, as you might be able to tell.
I have no idea.
You don't know of any that you heard that passed. Okay. All right. Can
but
you
I'm also one of, I'm one of those people that just completely compartmentalizes their life. It's just, you know, like I just got in contact with one of my best friends in high school was a guy named Jerry Bainey. And Jerry and I just reconnected he reached out to me, and he had earlier in the year, he had taken a picture in front of my house that I grew up in. And it was like, it was so sweet. It was so funny because I went off to a Catholic school, and my mom was just like, and Jerry had like really long hair in high school. And my mom in her head's like, I know that one of the guys from the team is picking up Kevin that lives here in town. I just hope it's not that long-haired one. And fucking, lo and behold, here comes Jerry and his fucking Maverick. So, yeah, so we've and like all my, like, a lot of the guys that I went to high school with, and then like their brothers and this whole group. They used to play football every Thanksgiving, and they all fucking got hurt and beat up. Now we're all in our 60s, and now I think they're going to do a golf outing. But fuck, I'm like on the road for 3 days with a sign. I would have blown this fucking thing off because it's just like, we're not getting any younger. I'd like to see my buddies, but I'm gonna next time I'm in town. I think when I'm gonna probably pick a weekend and when the canvas comes out and do some proper advertising, making sure that you got to do quality control on these fucking things if you're going to break it out. So make sure that there's proper quality control on my product, and I'd love to see it. Just hang
That'd
out
be cool.
with Jerry. Yeah,
You should have them call in. We can get some good young Nash stories, in addition to the ones we've gotten already involving the toilet tank and whatnot.
We just wanted both. We both, Jerry and I both came to the conclusion that we both want to say, and I want to publicly say it to Larry Janess, fuck you and thank you for ruining our senior year. He was my basketball coach my senior year.
You don't get along with your basketball coaches, I'm noticing.
I don't get along with fucking anybody.
Can you identify these 3 people? Let's go. Let's bring up the first one.
Fish. Abe, whatever the fuck his name is. Fish.
Pagoda. Okay. That counts. Fish. Next one.
Petty Duke.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Last one.
Lauren Green.
All right. That's okay. We'll mark that down.
Look, Bonanza.
Did you ever look in the mirror and did you ever look in the mirror and see any Lauren Green or Abe Vigoda staring back at you? How's that for a question?
I think I see Abe Vigoda's nose hair some mornings when I got to take that fucking weed whack and go deep into that motherfucker.
Yeah. Hopefully some company can come along and give us some male grooming products to help with those kind of things, Kev. We'll see.
Yeah, you never know.
Next couple of weeks.
I keep my shit coolioed up anyway, so.
Twist it up. Curl it. Ever attend a Pampero Firpo match?
No, but watched them on TV.
Okay.
Actually, I think we were in New Orleans or someplace, and fucking Sean Waltman, man, that motherfucker knows. He's like a wrestling encyclopedia. We're walking out of the fucking and Harley was there, and Harley was in a wheelchair. We were walking with Harley, and I think Scott was pushing Harley, and fucking kid goes, "Oh my God!" He goes like what? He goes, "Right there, it's purple." And I was like, "That's fucking purple." So
he would, of all people, right? Pac would know.
Pac would fucking know.
Was Bill Russell the greatest of all time?
No. Chamberlain.
Okay, well, that's still going to count against you there. Name all 3 Pep Boys.
The Pep Boys? Like on the commercial?
The commercial. The Pep Boys. Bum, 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 bum. 3
suck
names.
a dick, swallow my balls, and eat my ass.
The commercials, the animation on those commercials would have been much more interesting if it was those. No, it was Manny Mo and Jack. Okay. Have you ever referenced the Maytag Man?
No.
Okay. Have you ever accused a friend or a sibling of scratching your record?
Now, if you really want to go back, I'd say, hey, man, you just fucked up my 45.
45 or a 33?
Yeah. 45.
Right,
remember you used to have the round fucking carry case you take down the street to your buddy's house?
Yeah.
I remember fucking Touch Me by the Doors was one of my hits.
All right. Well, this puts you on the scale from Billie Eilish to Michael Douglas. I'm sad to announce you're Bela Lugosi, for God's sakes, with those answers.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, boy.
Can't teach cool, baby. Doesn't matter what the fuck you know. I know Billie Eilish.
We were talking about.
You didn't ask me anything that would have, like, if you would have put up 3 like current people and I would have got them, then I could have had like some cool factor come back in. But you just, I mean, fuck. Of course, there was 3 channels on TV. Of course, I would have fucking Patty Duke, fucking Barney Miller, and one of my best friends on earth is Adam Rodriguez. His father-in-law is Wojo.
From Barney Miller?
Yeah.
That's dope. You know, I started this by saying I saw a guy running the other day, and it was in person. I saw two people running recently. Josh Hawley running down the hall,
Right.
and then I saw the guy running on the street, which gave me the idea for the show. Did you see Josh running this week, Kev, by any chance? Something tells me you did.
Yeah, you know, I did see that. As a matter of fact, well, I turned on Fox News to see if the, you know, I was wondering what was going on with the January 6th hearing, and for some reason, fucking Fox didn't have it on. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So I ended up over on MSNBC with my girl Rachel. Madam, she's working in all black. And yeah, I saw it. I didn't know if he was running or what that was actually just some kind of result of toxic shock from his tampon.
It was kind of a skipping kind of.
The only thing would have been better than that was maybe fucking like, I don't know, catching him with a big boot right before he got out of the screen.
You know, the thing is, and for people who are going to say, oh, the one-sided, the political, anyone in that building should have been running. What makes the Hawley significant is what happened 3 hours earlier when he was walking past the assembled crowd, and he gave that tough guy fist of approval.
And I found out later on he was a huge Diesel fan. He was trying to emulate my fucking, you know.
It was
the fucking, yes. And I said,
did you
no.
copyright that deal? Like Pat Riley with the three-peat?
I said young bitches could use it, so I guess he fucking.
You gave him the pass.
Yeah, he said. How about that whole? How about that? I mean, how about that hearing?
This is beyond political because it's a presentation of facts, really, and that's why, honestly, that's why Fox isn't covering it, because there's no way to spin it.
Yeah.
Normally they would cover it and just spin it in their direction, as networks do. I mean, there's spin on CNN too, but specifically to this, there's no spin.
I just, to me, it's like different people that I'll put like a tweet out or something like that, and they're like, this is so one-sided. How is it one-sided when your family, your friends, and your hand-picked cabinet are fucking testifying, and they're under oath, and they're basically saying, well, yeah, you did sit there and watch fucking Fox TV, and you did nothing until it looked like, okay, well, they're not going to overrun the Capitol, so I'll come out there but then you watch that fucking interview. Jesus, I mean, fuck, you're talking about a horrible promo guy. How's he in the Hall of Fame for fucking WWE?
Oh, the outtakes you're talking about, the other.
I don't want to say the lost election. I don't want to say I got a full fucking diaper on. I don't want to say fucking my child was artificially inseminated.
So if anyone's got a sack here, right, and the January 6th hearings, let's say you're a Republican, you know, of sound mind, and you're realizing, and not a good look for my party here, not something that I want to be involved with. I need somebody to come in and represent my party in the 2024. Who's got the shot? We were talking about DeSantis earlier today. Is he the one?
Then I don't know, because I just saw a thing where there's white supremacists that were at a rally, and the swastikas, and like there was no,
I was shocked by how brazen it was.
Stand back and stand by.
Yeah.
We've seen this fucking play out before. I'm like, dude, really? Like fucking.
I think DeSantis will have to separate himself from the fact that it was that brazen is what surprised me. Not that there are people of that ideology, but usually you look at January 6th, right? There's a different uniform. It's not the swastika, and it's cloaked in maybe some camouflage, those type things, the armbands. But this picture that I saw that you showed me was at a DeSantis rally, and it was swastika flags. So he's going to have to separate himself from that extremism And this January 6th, I think, for the thinking Republican, is kind of a laundry list of what's going to have to be avoided. And Kensinger said it. And did you see his closing statement?
Oh my God.
He's really
when
good.
he went into it's basically the truth, you know. It's like, and I felt shitty because I fall into that tribalism. You know, we've all kind of picked sides. We've all, and as much as you try not to, but my whole thing is, if I'm sitting there and I'm Donald Trump, and motherfucking Sean Hannity is telling me, dude, fucking listen, I'm Sean. I mean, if Sean Hannity's telling you you're fucking up, dude, you're fucking up. Now, fucking the pillow guy says it, that's a different thing. But this is fucking Sean Hannity. I mean, there's times when I listen to Sean Hannity, and if you know, especially when he used to have his radio show, when he wasn't just trying to fucking be the fucking spin doctor, it would be like, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I see that point. Yeah, and I always try to see other people's points. But I'm sorry, man. Fucking a swastika.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not finer people on each side. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, because my whole thing is, if you can take it back to fucking to 1930 and not blink an eye, well, what fucking happens to fucking all the civil rights and all that shit? Because that's in the 50s. So if we're gonna take this shit back to the 30s, well, we can just fucking, you know,
skip over a lot there. Yeah, yeah.
It's like I watched the special on CNN, and they were talking to this girl, and actually a lady, and she was talking about, and she lived on and one thing, she was a Navajo, and she lived on a Navajo reservation, and when she was taught with a history book that basically was like, gave her like a page. Like, they talked like a page about the Navajos. And her whole life, she was just like, wow, like, we get a fucking page? Like, for you know, and then because the big, you know, and then they say, well, that's a critical race, you know, and it's like, you know what? Just, why is it, I grew up in Detroit. I knew nothing about Black Wall Street until I watched HBO The Watchmen. And I sat there with my wife, and I'm watching this fucking travesty go down. And I'm like, how the fuck? I grew up in Detroit. It's like I grew up in fucking Greenwich, Connecticut. I grew up in fucking Detroit. So how the fuck do I not know this? And I Google it, and I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, fuck, babe, this happened. And fucking HBO, I mean, and you're telling me that should be, we don't teach it. Fuck you. It's part of our country, man.
Yeah, you got to learn the good and the bad about your country, and you know, you played in Germany, so you know that there's really severe.
They have zero fucking tolerance over there for that.
Right.
You know,
I was just gonna say that.
Well, at least they did, because I think there's a fucking a little thing going everywhere right now.
But yeah, but I mean, they were able to make admissions and then correct and move forward, and you know, certain flags, certain symbols.
I just keep hearing Michael Sipes in my head. It's the end of the world, and you know it, and I feel fine because I'm 63. Fuck it. I mean, I got tops 20 years.
Listen, you're passing on a planet to your son, who's in his 20s. They'll be grandkids someday, perhaps. You know,
he's not that. My son's like, no, I mean, fuck this.
He doesn't have to do it now, but there may come a time. He wants to pass on the Nash name.
He wants to be. He wants to fucking be Gary Busey's kid on fucking Contact. Fucking puts the explosive on fucking Amazon, motherfucking next rocket. Kidding.
Listen, we went stiff on Josh Hawley, so that brings us to the stiff one of the week, for God's sakes. Every week we play a clip of Kev or someone talking about Kev going a little stiff. This week it's the Honky Tonk Man, everyone's favorite Elvis impersonator, a very early star of the shoot genre, which I of course could thank him for. He has publicly said that we all should be thanking him for all of the recorded wrestling programming now in the podcast and shoot interview world. Maybe he's right. I don't know. Cause for debate. Let's see. Let's see this week's Stiff One of the Week. Honky Tonk.
I said something one time. That sorry motherfucker. I'd shove this fucking thing right up his fucking cocksucking ass. He says one time, I was not a great champion. Hey, Nash, what, you motherfucker, you couldn't even sell the garden out and you were the world's champion. I sold the fucking garden out 8 fucking times. 8 times is not a lot. Bruno sold it out a whole bunch more. So did Hogan. How many times you sell a garden out, Nash? How many fucking times did you sell out Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Montreal, Toronto, Miami, San Francisco, San Diego, L.A.? How many fucking times? Hard places to sell out, Salt Lake City.
I've been everywhere.
Denver, Colorado. None, not a fucking time. I will put my record, I'll put my gate receipts against your lazy ass any fucking day of the week. Fuck you.
What's the source of that heat? Was there ever a personal exchange?
I never even met the fucking guy. I never even saw him. He done some shit on the internet. He was defending Ric Flair or Jeff Jarrett or somebody. I don't know whose dick he was sucking.
That was my voice, so that must have been you, Shoot.
So I guess never met me before, but I have to say this, and I'm not going to say anything negative about him, because for somebody I never met, he came and worked a match when I worked. I had a pediatric AIDS event in downtown Phoenix, and he came and worked a match on my card. I didn't ask. He just showed up. He lived in Phoenix, and so I have nothing. You know what? I have nothing bad. He can say whatever he wants. I don't think he could get that belt up my ass, because I'm absolutely a power top. And,
it was actually a Gatorade bottle filled with vodka that night. I remember the night.
Yeah.
That's what was going up your ass, by the way. You know, it's a funny thing, though.
They say that's a quick absorption through the small intestines.
That's the way to get high, right? Stick it up your ass.
Little wine enema that a hippie chick taught me in college.
I sold out the garden. That phrase, he's not the only one that I've heard talk this way. Does one person ever sell anything out?Maybe with the exception of Bruno. You know, Bruno, top of the card. You went to see Bruno. But after Bruno.
Yeah, but if Bruno doesn't have an opponent, do you really are you going to go drop? I don't know what a ticket was back then.
Okay, good point.
$1.35.
Right.
Whatever the fuck it is. But I mean, it was funny last night. They were talking about Madison Square Garden. The last Raw I watched, I should say. They were talking about Madison Square Garden. They were talking about, how these, they were talking about Roman Reigns and how, he's been the champion for, I think, 700 days or whatever. I'm thinking, wasn't Bruno the champion for like fucking 73 years?
It was, the first run was like 63 to, people get on me here, 63 to 70. And then it was, then a shorter one, 70 something. It was a total of, I think, maybe, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years. I should know this. I did a show with Bruno, but you get to 50.
He's still, he still looks like he can fucking go.
Now, but see, now Hogan, you probably could have put Hogan in the ring with a chair and people would have come.
Hogan, fucking absolutely. I'm sorry, but fucking, like, you with the IC belt, you were never on top in the guard. You just weren't. Fucking, like, you might have been last match because fucking Hulk, when he was the champion, went on 4th. So you get the fuck out of there. But
right.
that doesn't mean it's your house.
All right, that was a stiff one of the week. It's time for Florida Man or Jersey Guy. 2 stories, 2 states. And you're going to tell me who was the Florida guy, Florida man, who was the Jersey guy. Okay, first item. Man dressed in bull costume attempts to burn down house with ragu sauce. I just read them, folks. Man dressed in bull costume attempts to burn down house with ragu sauce as the accelerant to the fire. Second one, doctor who ejaculated on patient gets 2 years in prison.
Seems a little stiff. I've always got to go with the bestiality with Florida. I can see some fucking wise guy from Jersey fucking squirt one off on somebody.
Oh, sorry, baby. It's the way it goes. Would you like to come up into my house and see my bird?
Well, you're correct. The man dressed in the bull costume. Let's see who this was. Where's the story? Florida man, one dressed in a bull onesie, attempts to burn down a house with ragu sauce. They're the two winners. Two Florida men caught with their hands in the pasta jar after they used ragu sauce to try and burn down a home they robbed last week. Derek Irving, 36, and John Silva, arrested after breaking into a DeLand home, stealing a flat-screen TV, air conditioning wall unit, and then trying to burn the joint down with some ragu sauce.
Yeah, and also finding 5 grams of mushrooms that they fucking ingested before they got the ragu.
But they must have went in the bull costume, though, too. That was before the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Doctor who ejaculated on patient. This is...
Is that the Miz?
It is a little Miz-like.
Just kid Mike.
Sorry, Miz. Montclair, New Jersey, former emergency room doctor at Mount Sinai. Now, Mount Sinai is in New York, but he was a New Jersey doctor. Sentenced to 2 years for sexually abusing 4 female patients. He should have just written a check. I think $12 million would have covered 4 women. In one instance, drugging
Don't be fucking putting fucking McMahon
a patient
with some
defenseless
fucking ER doctor.
Ejaculating. Do you ever wake up with anything sticky on you at the dentist? I don't know how.
No.
There had to be a process of someone going home and going, wait, what is this? What is this? What?
The fucking smells like bleach. You fucking better. I mean, I'd throw the fucking flag right there.
Yeah, but who goes there first? Who doesn't go, oh, this is something in the anesthesia that got on my face or whatever? Anyway, it was spit. Mr. Dr. Newman said that what I did was awful and disgusting, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But I'll put it in my memory and get off to it the rest of my fucking life. You
2 years.
Fucking sick freak.
You'd figure it should be more than 2 years, right? I mean, I don't think this guy should be running around.
Yeah, but 2 years, and then if sooner or later word gets around what you did, that's a long 2 years.
That's true. That reputation.
So you were tossing off by that. Oh, okay, motherfucker.
Gonna follow Dr. Newman a little bit.
That motherfucker woke up and looked like fucking coming out of the womb, probably.
You know, it is time to talk trivia for a minute, Kev, because if you're a fan of professional wrestling, and I'm assuming everyone listening is because they're listening to a wrestling podcast, for God's sakes. But whether you're a fan of companies today or if you were glued to your TV on Monday nights watching my friend Kevin Nash here, we have the perfect free mobile game for you, available on Android's Google Play and in Apple's App Store. It's called Ultimate Wrestling Trivia. Feel the flood of memories come rushing back as you test your knowledge on all things from the world of professional wrestling by playing Ultimate Wrestling Trivia. You're not alone in this quest. They have enlisted the help of more than 30 of their more famous friends to come and ask some of the questions and cheer you on. They'll celebrate when you answer a question correctly or bust your chops when you get one wrong. Maybe you can gig, you could blade. Maybe if you get one wrong, turn it into a game with your friends. But don't do that, though. You'll hurt. So you use fake blood. The game has multiple world champions, including Hall of Famers such as Kevin Nash, Eric Bischoff, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, Jerry the King Lawler. You could download Ultimate Wrestling Trivia today and see where you stack up against the competition on the leaderboard. Search Ultimate Wrestling Trivia in the App Store for Apple or Google Play Store. And Or you can just go to the website, ultimatewrestlingtrivia.com, for more info. If you like trivia, you're going to love this game. It's free mobile game, 10,000 questions, okay, guys? You're not going to get repeat questions. 650 video questions, 30 wrestlers, legends, including Nash. Find out who knows more wrestling trivia between you and your friends when you all play. You can even join a faction. Recreate the NWO with your friends there and play Ultimate Wrestling Trivia. To download, just search Ultimate Wrestling Trivia on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Go to ultimatewrestlingtrivia.com for more info. Thank you, Ultimate Wrestling Trivia.
What was Lauren Green's first gimmick? Just think about it. Come back.
I'm going to say Oz. All right, back to Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. Well, it was all over the news. The last couple of weeks was the Vince thing. We didn't cover it initially, but now, Vince is gone. So this is kind of a moment in wrestling history, with a bit of a stain, but a moment nevertheless. I'm not going to spend time on the news part of it, but just for anyone who doesn't know, the Wall Street Journal was the first to break the story that there were $12 million in payments, reportedly not from company coffers, but from Vince's account or his personal funds. And it was hush money for women. The first announcement that came out was the $3 million to a former employee who he had an affair with, and I think there was one of 7.5 was to one was a former wrestler, or not, former performer, right? I don't want to get that wrong. Who I think left in 2005, and so as a result of that, he stepped away, and the latest as of this morning. Reported that the company 8K stated that McMahon's separation was a resignation, and that he authorized $14.6 million total in payments, and it was not recorded on WWE statements. They're going to the company said today they're going to revise the books for 2019 through 2021 to account for these authorized expenses, which again is supposed to have come from McMahon's personal funds.
I don't understand how the company has to revise its books if it's Vince's money.
I don't know if it was in the form of a stock cash out, maybe, or there weren't many details other than they were going to quote adjust the books.
If it's Vince's stocks and it's fucking his, I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know all the requirements for the.
I guess if I was a Republican, I'd say it's a witch hunt.
It's a witch. Listen, the stock price was largely unaffected, which I didn't anticipate, to be honest with you. I did hear a lot of people, when this first happened, Kev, I know you heard the same thing. People are like, well, it's wrestling. No one's going to take it seriously. But it's still a publicly traded company that people have money invested in. So I thought it would be different. But the stock price was largely unaffected, and we talked today that the street is bullish on the stock over the next year. I think they're projection 98.
Yeah, top out of 98. I bought shares yesterday. I'm not gonna lie.
When you see this kind of scandal, this kind of what encompasses scandal, this kind of behavior in corporate America usually has a deleterious effect on the investment. But it doesn't seem to be happening this time. Is it because it's wrestling?
To me, there's so many people that are like, well, of course there's, where there's smoke, there's fire, there's more, and I don't know, to me, if you have some affairs and I'd go with the Charlie Sheen thing. And I mean, this isn't, people always, when the Heidi Fleiss thing came out and, everybody jumped on Sheen's throat and they're like, Charlie, why are you paying for, for the prostitution? He's like, I'm not paying for the prostitution. He said, I'm paying to tell him to get the fuck out of my house. And, you know, Vince had these affairs, and maybe it was time that, you know, he wasn't, you know, something didn't work out. He just didn't want it to get out. So he, you know, he instead of it becoming a situation where it was sour grapes and he wanted to break something off, he, you know, a person of that stature's. My whole thing is like, I haven't seen anything with sexual impropriety or, you know, where he's, you know, forced himself on somebody, or I haven't seen.
No, that was never, I don't,
Right,
I don't think
I
that
just
was
haven't
ever.
I researched it the best I could, and you know, and I didn't see anything. So, I mean, is it something I would want on my resume? No. But
you see, here's the thing, though. And I saw Jericho on a show called, I always want to give credit to the people who work hard to produce shows. True Geordie Extra, it was called. And Jericho's position was kind of like, you know, the wrestling fans aren't going to care. And he went to the whole, he contrasted it to the Weinstein thing, wherein Harvey Weinstein, I think, was explicit in his withholding parts from women who were not compliant to put that action in their mouth. Fate worse than death. But here's it is different, but it's the same. And here's why. Because there is a de facto power play in effect when you have control over somebody's future livelihood. These women may have had kids. They need the job. So when you are the boss and the fucking CEO of a publicly traded company, there is a de facto implicit power play at work. These women did not cave because they fell in love with Vince McMahon. I don't think. Maybe they all did. Who knows? But I don't think that's why they went to bed with Vince. I would probably put my money on the fact that it was because he was a man of power, A, and B, he held the key to their future. And that's where it is similar to a situation. Listen.
But
go ahead. Please.
I look at it this way. I had a job with a company, and my boss was a female, and we went to on the road and did a business situation, and it was some training and everything else, and we, you know.
Was this a wrestling company?
No.
Oh, I thought I was going to get a Dixie exclusive here. All right.
No.
Go ahead.
No. And it was, I mean, it was very forward that my job that weekend was to service her. You know, which, I mean, I didn't do. And I ended up, you know, not working there much longer, and I got fired. I got fired by the plant. I was a statistical process control analysis person, and I did SBC, and I was basically working for Ford at the time. But I was, you know, I would, if a car didn't meet the standards, and I would, you know, I'd tag it. So,
but she never said, if you don't tag this, you're not going to have a job anymore. She was never explicit like that.
I mean, no, but it turned around that all of a sudden I was pressured,
right,
basically out of a job.
Right. So it doesn't have to be the Harvey Weinstein situation to be.
No, but my whole thing is, if I wanted to get a raise or do whatever I want, I mean, you know, the opportunity was there. I could have made a play. You know, I just didn't feel that I needed to. So it's
the fact that I'm, you know, what fascinates me too, the paperwork, like what they had to sign. Like, is there a file just on the computer that they could print one out when one is needed? Is there a stack in the office? Like, here's some copyright applications. Here's some applications for vacation. Here's the forms not to talk if you have sex with anyone.
Dropping fucking 7.5 to somebody. I mean, fuck. there's guys that, you know, that have been on top of this business didn't make anywhere fucking near that.
It's a way they could have, which has been unearthed. But
Yeah.
you know, there's a moral and ethical play here. So just answering those that say, well, nothing illegal, nothing, you know, it wasn't a rape situation, it wasn't expressed, it doesn't have to be wrong. And I think it was correct for him to step away. And I think the company will properly distance themselves from it and not allow the thank you Vince chance. Maybe what do you?
I mean, I thought that they did as little as possible on SmackDown. You know, I mean, there was no, it wasn't like a send off package for Vince.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for somebody that's basically, when you think of wrestling, you think of Vince McMahon, or a something that came from from his company, and he was wrestling. But at the same point, you know, it's like when Steinbrenner was no longer, you know, associated with the Yankees. You know, the Yankees are still the Yankees, and the WWE will still be the WWE. I think, in all honesty, I think that they're in a better situation than they were with Paul Levesque, Triple H being in charge of creative. I think that Nick Khan had aspirations. I think that when he first got there, I think he had aspirations to either be in charge of a network or in charge of a production company. And now, you know, he's got both of those. He's got a production company, and he's got film, he's got, you know, streaming. So I think that they've got the right person in that CEO spot, and then they've got Steph in the other one. They're co-CEOs, and you put I call him, I mean, he's Paul to me because he's a dear friend of mine, but you know, you put the magic that he has and the creative mind that he has. I just think that moving forward, I think it's going to be a dynamic that does take this company up and forward.
Where is that next level, though, Kev? Where is that next level? You know, I have to call him Triple H because I don't know him. You can call him Paul. I'm going to call him Triple H. What do you think's going to happen? You know him. You know his likes and dislikes. You know how he sees the business, having spent so much time personally with him and professionally working with and coming up with stuff with him. What do you think WWE 2025 will look like as compared to maybe 2015?
Right. I think one of the problems that the company has right now is that Raw is 3 hours long. I thought that was the demise of Nitro, is when we went 3 hours. 3 hours is too long. It's asking your fan base every Monday to watch fucking Titanic or Avatar. It's just too fucking long. I would love to see a breakaway of Raw and have Raw be a mature, an M-rated show, and be played Friday nights, maybe on FX. I don't know where, you know, they can get a deal with, but where they could, you know, I'm so tired of seeing guys say, you know, I want to kick your butt. And you drive by a fucking, a bus stop with third graders, and guys like, hey, you fucking cocksucker, I'll kick you in the fucking dick. And those are third graders. Like, what planet are we living on here where it's just like, oh no, it needs to be, yeah, right.
So you'd clear Raw of any censorship where you couldn't use bad language.
I'm sure that I just watched Jeff Bridges and The Old Man, and you know, they say fuck and they have sex, and you know, I mean it's not, you know, it's not graphic, but it's graphic enough. Animal Kingdom on TBS is graphic. I think that's you need something for that audience, and then take NXT, which you already, once they got fucking behind Paul's back, turned it into Nickelodeon. Have that be the Saturday fucking show for the kids. You know, I mean, to me, the worst thing you can do to a small arena is overproduce it and over fucking light it, and show exactly, you know, how small the arena is.
So like the NXT shows you're talking about.
I would, because it used to have like a Fight Club feel,
right?
You know, and that was not fucking show. That was a show I watched. It wasn't because my buddy fucking booked it. It was because that was a show I enjoyed. And I don't know. We'll see.
Well, how could you handle like pay-per-views, let's say, if you had that dual track? You had Raw, which was Friday nights, uncensored, edgy angles, and then you had a more sanitized NXT product. What happens on pay-per-view? Can they cross shows or?
Yeah, because now you're talking. We go back to MMA. You know, we go back to, you know, it's to an MMA. It's about, you know, ring work. It's about, you know, that's the one thing that I've always said that, you know, people say that sooner or later pro wrestling will die, and I'd be like, no, because there's so many times in my life that I have paid, you know, nowadays it's, you know, $111 by the time you get high def and everything else. You know, it's fucking sperm sample and a fucking poop smear. But, you know, for me, it's like, I know that, you know, Lesnar and Reigns aren't going to go fucking 30 seconds in SummerSlam. I know that for a fact. So, I mean, and when it's done well, you know, and it's done right and it's shot well and shot right, it's magic.
Now, of course, another news item over the last couple of weeks was the WWE, the program Raw, going to TVMA. TV. What did they go to? They go to MA. They went to PG.
14, right?
14. That's what it's called now.
Yeah. 14.
Again, sign of age. There was just 3 fucking ratings back in the day.
I'd go back to 11 soft, but 14, if that's all they can get, fucking, you know.
14 ripping, baby. So a deliberate move, just something they had to do because the product was getting edgier, or is this something you think Triple H was? Well, I was actually probably in discussion before this if it was deliberate, so it would have been Vince and Triple H talking about a more edgy direction for the company.
Yeah, I think it has to be. You know, I think that's what. When you go back to the Attitude Era. And people will come up to, you know, guys that were in that era, and they'll say, you know what, I watched the show, and it's just not, guess what? Of course it's not the same show. Because there's nobody pulling a hand out of some woman's vagina that's 90 years old on today's show. So, you know, what we got away with in the 90s, you know, and what they can get away with now, especially under the guise of PG, I mean, fuck. So,
well, that's an interesting point because you have to, what you're taking into account now is like the sensitivity, the cancel culture and the sensitivity of the viewer. The stuff on television now is much more explicit than it ever was. However, there's certain subjects that you couldn't broach on television today. I don't know how would the Mae Young hand play it? You think that would be okay? You could probably do it in a movie, horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do it. Tarantino could get away with it.
Yeah.
But I you know, the thing that really is just, I don't understand why so many people that have made a living off sitting underneath the Vince McMahon apple tree and waiting for that golden apple to fall in their fucking hands. How many of those people were just so fucking just, oh, right, yeah, the fucking, once again, you know, the fall of the Roman Empire. And it's just like, what a bunch of fucking pieces of shit, you know?
Well, if you listened this week to different podcasts, different commentators, you did,
I
huh?
did. Fuck yeah, I did.
So
and
some folks that
work
worked there at one.
Yeah, a lot of the motherfuckers, man. It's just like, I don't know. When I spent I was the champion for a year, and Vince handpicked me, and we spent a lot of time together, and we became. I've always considered Vince a friend of mine, and also like a father figure. I mean, he was, you know, but at the same time, I was green as fuck, and he had my folder. And there were times, you know, like when he said, like, we're going to do this thing where you're going to sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and in my mind, I'm thinking, this is the shits, but I'm going to do it because it's Vince McMahon. And then you realize he doesn't fucking know everything.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't know everything. That's why, you know, I've always said to this day, if you ask Vince McMahon what the people want, he thinks they want a fucking white meat baby face in the fucking corner after a fucking match, waving the American flag, not fucking stone cold, fucking drinking beer and fucking flipping people off. And that was the whole thing. Is when the shit fucking when they took off, it was that formula that they just finally tuned from what the NWO did. This did, this did, this did. Then they took it, and you know, Steve was the perfect guy for
Yeah.
at the right time, right place, perfect.
How much do you
guy.
credit Vince Russo with that change in programming?
I wasn't there, so I mean, I know that, like, you know, he gets a fucking, everybody fucking hates Russo. You know,
I don't
It's
hate
like,
Russo.
I don't either. There's a lot of times when he would always say, like, nobody gives a fuck about work rate. Like, and it's the truth, man. Like, when it comes down to the purest are the guys that fucking give a shit about work rate. People fucking come up to me and they'll fucking say, man, you were my favorite when I was a kid. I used to just love when you fucking moved around your tassels. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? I liked you with the blonde hair. I thought that was a good look. Not, boy, motherfucking, man. There were times out there where I thought you were Danny Gable.
Yeah, no, I get that. And writing TV at the time, going back to that era, you had Raw, you had SmackDown. What was the Saturday show called? Velocity? No, what the hell was
There's a
it?
couple that Heat.
Well, there was Heat, Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night Heat.
There was the Saturday one. There was like 12 hours of wrestling or 10 hours that had to be written every week. I don't know if people understand what writing 10 hours a week.
Especially, like, and I've said this many a time, like, you know, we would write a 3-hour Nitro and then follow with a 2-hour Thunder. And then you had to write the next Nitro to put because we're taping back-to-back Thunders. So we were taping a 3-hour Nitro, 4 hours of Thunder, and then if somebody got hurt in between there, you were just fucked because it didn't match. And I mean, it was a clusterfuck. You know,
you had to know the following week's Thunder to shoot it, which meant you had to know what happened Monday night, which would be live, which hadn't happened
so you
yet.
had to book. You had to book 10 hours.
Yeah. So to that point, let's talk about Triple H for another minute here. Now, he has, as I think today was the announcement, he took over Creative officially, right? In addition to his other duties. Well, isn't this what he was doing before with Vince? I mean, to say he had no creative input would be naive, yes?
I don't think that, especially towards, I mean, before anything happened with his health, I think that that Paul kind of pulled back and focused on NXT, because it was just, I have been, you know, Vince will fucking not have the show done. I remember when I was working with CM Punk, and Phil and I would just be sitting there, and of course it didn't affect me because they gave me no fucking verbiage, but fucking Phil had, you know, they made Phil fucking, you know, they wanted him to. He could go off point, but they wanted, you know, the basic bullets, and we just look at each other, man, and be like, fucking, the pyro's starting, and we don't even have fucking, and everybody's like, I see you out there. I'll see you out there. Like,
so it was that unstructured.
It just, Vince just never, you know, I think that right now, guarantee one thing that happened this Monday was that it was, you know, people knew what but probably by 5 o'clock, people had a concrete idea exactly what was going to fucking happen in the Garden, you know, it was such a, 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 it was su to me, it was like, because I was excited because Paul was in charge of creative. And then when they opened up, man, and the fucking, I think it's called the 16 camera. It's that fucking, that beauty shot of fucking,
Top.
yeah. I mean, it looked like Game 7 of, the Knicks' wildest dream of fucking having a, championship team back in the Garden. It was just so, and it was like, and on top of it, man, it's a fucking Garden. Like that's their home, that's their backyard, that's their home court. And for those people, I mean, they were rabid. It was, and there was, I mean, just the fact that, when Theory came out and fucking Reigns looked at him and said, your daddy's gone, boy.
Mm.
So, I mean, they made reference to it. It wasn't like, the fucking elephant in the room type thing. So they made reference to it.
Are we going to see Shane again?
I don't know.
What are you hearing? You hearing anything?
As a stockholder, I'd say watch and stay tuned. I have no idea. Paul and I sent him a text and I basically just said, congratulations. I said, I said, it's wonderful. I said, the business couldn't be in better hands than you and Stephanie. And I'm looking forward to seeing what magic you guys do on your blank canvas. Not that canvas from Czechoslovakia, but a blank canvas put
Please,
directly
Bulgaria.
You say tomato, I say Czechoslovakia.
Does what were Shane's strengths? What would he be good at if Shane McMahon came back?
Unbelievable fucking shoe game. Tennis shoe fucking. No, he's fucking. Shane's always been fucking. He's a hip motherfucker, man. Shane's he ain't gonna fucking time out. He knows what fucking. I'll guarantee you, man. You fucking name fucking 12 fucking rap guys. He fucking know 9 of them.
Right. So he brought the element of cool at one time.
He's cool. I always liked Shane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was always cool to me. I was always cool to him.
And he was a good work. It wasn't like a Fredo situation. He was there because he was good at what he did.
Yeah,
he was good in the ring. I enjoyed watching him when he wrestled, but I just don't know behind the scenes what impact he had.
Yeah,
just curious.
He's a crazy motherfucker in the ring.
Your personal time with Vince. I was looking forward to this segment. I'll tell you why. Of all the people I'm listening to, a lot are pundits. A lot of people worked there at one time under Vince. You worked on top for Vince at a crazy time of popularity for the business. So you know an element of Vince that very few people could talk about. Steve can talk about it. Hulk obviously can talk about it. Sean could probably talk about it. But you can talk about being in the Vince McMahon brain trust, where he lets you into his head and he shares ideas, and you get, I would assume, get to share ideas with him. What's it like planning something with Vince? Is he listening more than he's talking? Can you go in with ideas from Jump Street, or are you just modifying his? What's it like working with Vince in creative?
One thing I always felt with Vince was, do you know when you have a conversation and you're pitching shit to somebody, and you can look in their eyes and you can see whether they're paying attention and listening, or if they're contemplating what the next thing they're going to say is. And Vince was always one of those people that was, you could just tell that you had his attention 100%. And when you would throw something at, and then I learned very quickly, that he would of course expect that like he didn't want to be cut off. He wanted, and it's just, and he'll sit there and listen to you and go, well, yeah, that's why I think you're wrong. And this is why here. I remember in WrestleMania 11, Sean and I had a spot. We said that Vince wanted to do something else, and we said, I think we're going to lose people there. It was like that fucking pull-out spot with a referee, whatever, and it just like, Sean was on top of me too long with no count. He came back in, and we knew we were going to lose people. And we went ahead and just planned on it and had a set spot for right after that to get the people back. And when we came back, you know, he pulled us aside. He said, "Yeah, you guys are right."
Mm.
So,
What about negotiating? Were you? I mean, I know the Kliq was a little. You were ball busters sometimes with that, but
what we knew at the time, I mean, you know, when they were a private company, I mean, there just wasn't a ton of money.
right.
So we knew that, you know, what there was definitely going to be a limit, you know, but when they came at us with those big contracts, I just asked Vince to match it. I was more than, I wanted to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said, you know, Kev, I can't. He said, even if I did, he said, you know, I said, I'd have to do it for Mark. I'd have to do it for Brett. I'd have to do it for Sean. He said, I just don't, we just can't function like that. And so,
Right.
you know,
What was Vince's weakness?
couldn't shut down. Couldn't shut it off.
All business all the time.
Yeah, I just, there was a couple times, you know, when he lets his guard down, man, he'll have some fun. You know, there's a couple of nights we'd go out and have, you know, steak. And back then he was a doers guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'd drink a little scotch with him. But as he got older, he switched to red wine. I was like, that works. So.
And one of the boys?
You know what? It's like everything else. Is just like, how did he treat you? And I'm like, treated me like gold, you know? But I was also the biggest motherfucker they had during the drug trials.
Yeah,
Clean.
that's true. And you were clean, too.
I was clean,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, there's the only reason that we're having this podcast Kliq This podcast with Kevin Nash is because I'm a big raw bone fucking clean motherfucker. I was fucking 6'10", 317 pounds, and I could piss in a cup every fucking day of the week.
Right.
So,
who had the best relationship in the Kliq with Vince? Was it you?
Yeah, because Sean had kind of a fucking neighbor. Yeah. They were like fucking the honeymooners. Shut up! You know, they were.
I just see Vince's face every time Sean gets. Oh.
Yes, but Sean would kick the door, motherfucking.
Yeah.
I was never, you know, I don't know.
Who had the worst? Probably, would you say Sean had the most strained relationship?
No, I mean, Scott just never, like, he never pushed the relationship situation. You know, he called boss, you know. Like he never, you know, but when you're the champion, you know, and you're up in New York and up in Sanford a lot and in the studio a lot, you're going to spend a lot of time with Vince and, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. When you jumped to WCW, what did you hear from the other locker room about Vince? What was Vince's image in a WCW locker room?
I wouldn't know because those motherfuckers didn't talk to us.
Yeah, but Eric did.
Yeah. No, you know, Eric was, I remember one time I was talking to Eric. We're in the back of a limo somewhere and we were driving. And this is like kind of where it was, you know, into days, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Hitler's bunker. And I remember looking at Eric and I said, you know, one of these days, I said, you're going to go and you're going to go work for Vince. And you're going to see the fucking, I mean, I said, you know, we're a fucking television company that does wrestling. And this is Scott's quote. I'm taking this from Scott, but Scott used to always say this, that, you know, TNT Nitro was actually a news/television company that had wrestling. The WWE is a wrestling company that does wrestling.
That's
huge
brilliant.
difference.
Brilliant.
Huge difference. Yeah. And I told him, I said, you're going to see the machine that you were up against, and those 83 weeks are going to they'll never sour in your mouth of what you've accomplished, because you're the only motherfucker on this planet that can fucking say, I beat Vince at his fucking game. And that's the truth. He's the only one.
Did Eric respect even during the war, and it got nasty? Did he respect Vince, or did he have a genuine dislike for the enemy? Maybe just because he was the enemy.
No, I think that kept Eric. Eric's fucking number one enemy was the fucking other tower. The fucking pricks at
CNN.
Yeah, TBS.
It's TBS. Yeah,
They wanted
Turner.
Have some fucking bullshit for, politically correct, get one fucking Emmy nod and spend $70 million, and it would open up fucking the first time they show it to a fucking 0.6. Look at it spilled. Oh boy, they just fucking can't wait for Silo. Come on, Ted, you get out of the Civil War, motherfucker.
Okay, so Eric, the internal struggle is what Eric was preoccupied with, you're saying.
Yeah, there were some times, it was good TV where he fucking challenged Vince to a fight in Worcester and a couple other things. That was just fucking, it was
working.
And that was fucking, that's the Detroit and Eric, There's so many similarities and so many differences between the two, but the similarities are they're both fucking dudes. You can tell both of them go fuck themselves, and they'll tell you to go fuck yourself. There's a lot of similarities in the two gentlemen. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of differences.
Right. It accounts for Eric's having the strength to be the one to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vern came close, but
I only met Vern one time, and WCW ran a show at the Felt Forum, and he was backstage, and I just knew him from AWA, and I just said hi to him.
What was he doing there? Felt Forum in New York?
Yeah.
Oh.
We ran a fucking show. I don't know. Greg was working for WCW at the time, so he might have been there with.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
Greg was there.
Was that the Bill Watts days?
Yeah.
So let's just, in summation, I guess, in the Vince segment here, if it's possible to erase the circumstances by which his tenure ended, what's your parting memory of Vince? Is it a personal one? Is it something he said to you? Is it a particular WrestleMania? What would be indicative and encapsulating of what Vince McMahon was?
I always say that anytime you judge a man or judge anything, but especially just to say because we're talking about a man here, we judge Vince. How will history look at him? How will history judge Vince McMahon? And I think that he'll be looked at with a very fucking favorable review. Did he have some, I'll just call them fuck ups. Did he fuck up? Yeah. Is he perfect? No. Is he from that madman era? Yeah. I don't in any way condone somebody using their power, but I just don't know the circumstances to these situations. And by nobody coming, it sure is funny how when Weinstein, you could stop a girl on a microphone, and we're not seeing that with Vince. So to me, I have to think that there's a little bit more to maybe, I don't know.
Well, they signed the NDAs in exchange for the cash, so they can't.
There's a lot.
They can't talk.
So did the fucking the women that were that Trump paid off?
What I'm blanking. Stormy Daniels. Stormy
she
Daniels.
fucking signed it. She signed a non-disclosure.
Right.
I guess the difference is if you sign a non-disclosure for $150K and you sign a non-disclosure for 7.5.
I wouldn't want anyone knocking on my door to return that check. Yeah.
No, I'd be like, fuck, what? No, I'm sorry. I've gotten a car wreck, concussion.
Right. And listen, if you're ever in a car wreck, Kev, it'd be a good thing if you had Car Shield. Let me tell you why, okay? Because it makes it easy.
Nice fucking segue.
Easy, and I was waiting for you. Easy and affordable way for you to protect your car from expensive repairs. That's just for starters. Car Shield is the #1 auto protection company in the U.S. I'm going to read that again. That's no joke. Car Shield is the #1 auto protection company in the U.S., and it offers protection plans for around $100 a month. The plan covers more than parts and covers more parts than ever, whether your car has 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles. Let me tell you how simple it is to get your car fixed, okay? When you need a repair, you choose your mechanic, okay? You go. Car Shield's administrators are going to handle the rest. You don't have to deal with paperwork, headaches. You're taken care of. Same goes if your car breaks down, you're stuck on the side of the road. Plans through Car Shield include coast-to-coast roadside assistance. Car Shield administrators are there for you with rental car options, trip reimbursement, no extra cost to your policy. Get coverage today. You'll lock in your price now, and it never goes up. That means as long as you own the car, no matter how old it is, you're protected from the rising cost of parts and repairs to your vehicle. Car Shield helps protect my wallet from expensive car repairs, and they're going to do the same for you. Go to carshield.com/podcast to start your plan and lock in your pricing forever. You got to type that podcast, though. That's carshield.com/podcast. A deductible may apply. All right, back with Kliq This. This is time for you guys. We always promised you equal time with Kev, and the one thing Kevin said to me when I said, let's do this podcast, other than what time do I have to get up, was I want to interact with people. So here it is. Jeff Goodridge says, Brodie Lee once said in a shoot interview that he spent an evening with you talking about the business. Do you remember this? And can you share any memories of the big rig?
Yeah, it was, God, I think we were in maybe Cleveland. We had actually worked against each other. And I think it was the night before. I'm pretty sure it's the night before because he and I sat up, man, and drank about, I'm not kidding you, we drank close to 40 beers apiece. Sun was coming up. We were still talking shit. And every time I saw him, we always would bring that up. It's just like, fuck, we drank all the beer in Cincinnati. Or, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was Cincinnati. We worked outside underneath this fucking tent thing. He was a hell of a man.
Did you talk business or just bullshit?
Yeah, we talked everything, but we just, I was the old gray-haired guy with the long, I was Sam Elliott in the diner with Patrick Swayze.
Johnny Supreme, biggest strip club rookie mistake, biggest strip club pro tip.
Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake is tipping $1 bills.
But if it's many $1, what if it's a stack of $1 bills that you insert there?
Fuck that.
No.
And then she's got to go back, fucking go to the bar, fucking change that out for 20 so she can put it on her fucking garter and put a rubber band around it. It's like, give her a fucking 20.
Right.
You walk up to fucking, I worked in strip clubs for so long. I could have wrote a fucking a doctrine on a person's self-worth on who they fucking came in and tipped. Like the guy with no teeth would pick the girl with the fucking derby, skinny legs with a fat gut. The guy that fucking, the Armani suit would pick, like, we had a girl named Courtney, and that was the one on Saturday nights, like Courtney'd be like, hey, could you get her on my table? I'd be like, fuck, sorry, man. Not tonight. She got fucking 8,000 dances going. But,
What were the so this is interesting. So what was the most common, as a bouncer, the most common issue you had? Was it guys getting too handsy?
Yeah, it's guys touching the girls.
Right.
Yeah.
All night long, right? You're just tossing people all night. Or I guess you
Yeah.
have to warn them and then you
No, fuck
toss them.
that. No.
Oh, you just toss.
When these girls are tipping you out, fucking minimum $5. I'm working solo. I ain't got time to fucking negotiate. I'm grabbing you by the fucking back of your neck and the fucking your belt, and I'm fucking taking you through the doors head first. This is before that fucking shit where remember one time I took some guy outside and the guy fucking turned around and got in a karate stance. I took a step over and hit him with an open hand slap. He fucking, his head went back and there was cobblestone in front of the cheetah. A pool of blood started. And I told his buddies, I said, get that motherfucker off my lot. I don't want him bleeding. There was a line of fucking round the corner to get in. You could see people get in the line like, fuck that. Like, nah. But that was a...
It's a good thing to show them on the way in, though, so that everyone's well behaved.
Yeah, don't
exactly.
touch. Who the fuck, girls are dancing nude on top of the table in front of you. You know, and it's lit like this is from underneath.
Right.
So, I mean, you don't really need to fucking, you don't need to touch anything.
Taylor wants to know, what was your worst payday in your wrestling career? What was your best?
Worst.
Was it the doll with the hair?
The worst payday was when we used to do TV. When it was the WWF.
Oh, right. That's
you
true.
Get $75 fucking dollars. They did pick up your room and they did pick up your rental car, and you were exclusively doing TV in the Northeast.
Because they were doing you a favor for giving you the exposure.
Yeah.
I can't believe they never changed. I know that's how, like in the 70s in Allentown, Dominic DeNucci would get a 70. I can't believe they still did that into the 90s.
And instead of catering, they'd have fucking a couple loaves of bread, some cold cuts of cheese, some mustard, make yourself a sandwich.
And you're there for 3 tapings. And
Dark
promos?
matches.
Was this promos too?
Oh, fuck yeah. Market specifics. Fuck. 5 weeks out, 4 weeks out, tonight, Wilkes-Barre.
Your best payday. Had to be a pay-per-view, WrestleMania.
What's that mean? 250, 300. Yeah.
For the event, for the night.
Yeah.
Okay. That's listen. It's a
That's,
different tax bracket. No So Grande is saying, if you could be cast in a remake of the TV show MASH, which character would you play? Also, do you still keep in contact with anyone you were in the Army with?
Alan Alda, and no, I'm not in contact with anybody I was in the Army with.
Last week you're Thor. This week you're Hawkeye. James Prentice, the finger poke of doom. How do you feel about it? How did you feel about it going into it? How do you feel about it now? A lot of people have talked shit about it over the years, but I always thought it was a brilliant swerve, as people are still talking about it today.
In retrospect, it probably would have been better had I not been the champion. That way I could have let Brian Clark beat me in Grand Rapids.
Wrath
and Goldberg could have went off and had that barn burner, and I could have just walked out and fought Hulk on just the premise that I was tired of the red versus the white never having that battle. So
very good. David Barrett.
You know what? In all honesty, though, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know why people fucking hate that? The finger poke of doom? Because it got them all. All the smarts, they all sat there, they went, oh, what? And on top of that, they went, fucking Nash can flat back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I had one in my tank.
David Barrett, loving the podcast, gents. Ask Nash for this week. With Vince retiring, do you think that Triple H will be put in charge of creative a show? What direction do you think Paul will steer it? Well, I obviously put this question in before it happened today, David, but you got your answer earlier. Oh, by the way, everyone, it's hashtag Ask Nash if you want to be part of next week's. Hashtag Ask Nash. Evil Beeve 32. Does Kevin agree with the theory that the Rock Me Tonight video destroyed Billy Squire's career? That's the question of the week. Do you remember that? It was so, Billy Squire was on a trajectory. He had those hits. He had the stroke. He had in the dark.
I heard that stroke so many times in strip clubs.
Yeah, I bet.
That fucking killed him in my eyes.
Steve, see if you can get that video up. He did a video for a song called Rock Me Tonight. They put him in rather feminine and flamboyant clothing, and I believe this video was directed by maybe Jellybean Benitez, a choreographer. So they had him doing this choreography throughout the video. And they say that this single-handedly on MTV killed his career. This will probably get us flagged, but if you could do anything to it, Billy Squire was a pretty neutral rock guy, and here it is, the soft '80s lighting. It's a good cut too, and jump me ahead a little bit here. I don't need to see his nipples waking up. And here we go. Look at some of this. Look at some of this action. This is Billy fucking Squire, the stroke. Look at this. And out of the context of the music, it's even more ridiculous. Folks, this is more incentive if you're listening to us to look at this, to get this on YouTube so you can watch the end, the suicide of Billy Squire, rocker Billy Squire's career right here.
If you would have told me that this was fucking an early Richard Simmons,
absolutely,
I would have fucking went, yeah.
Absolutely. This is sweating to the oldies.
Richard Simmons' ugly brother.
Yeah, man. So this was it. Yeah, this was his finger poker to him. Guys, what more to say? What more to say? We've covered it all. We've been around the world. And that means that I should remind you that for this week, Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcasting. You can say anything you want. This is your fucking show.
I didn't get a chance to say this, and I just wanted to say to Vince McMahon personally that right now I'm sitting in my oceanfront podcast studio, and my son and I will drive 1.6 miles down the beach to our oceanfront home. And without you believing in me, I would have none of this. My family would not have. There's no NWO with no Diesel. And so I just wanted to personally say thank you. And thank you for what you've done for our industry. And I don't know what the fuck you're going to do, man, but if you ever want to drink some fucking red wine, I'll pick you up at the Bronco. You got to just fly your shit. Fly that private shit down to Daytona Beach. I can pick you up at the Bronco. Go smoke a cigar and have some fucking wine.
Yeah, and that would also include doing a podcast appearance with us. It was very, very, very good. Very, very. You know you're a heat seeker, right? Because you could have texted him that, but you did this on air.
Well, I did text him. I texted him and I called him.
It's going to get you heat. You're brilliant.
Yeah, because you know what?
You're
fucking, you want that. You want everybody to fucking, you know what? Yes, I'm a lucky motherfucker. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm sorry. I'm fucking, I'm Bannon. Okay?
Steve Bannon?
Fuck yeah, I'm too stupid to even take the fifth. I'm going to jail.
Producer Steve Kaufman.
I don't have that fucking big, whatever the fuck. Please
there's a lot.
Yeah, get that thing fucking checked, would you?
There's a lot of action on that face.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Steve Kaufman helped us with the production, graphics, Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence, forthcoming by Wesley Burlinson, theme song Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2022, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, do you want to do another one?
Only if we do it dressed as Billy Squire while we talk about a bunkhouse match.
Come as you are. Come as Billy Squire. Fantastic.